It's shocking and humiliating to me as a deaf American that anybody who hears this video needs to be told a single word of it. But evidently, everyone does, and even from results past, it seems unlikely that it will be of any benefit whatsoever to attempt to convey the truth. I was about 10 years old. I was 9 years old the first time I was sexually abused by the Army. I was 10 years old when I was slaughteringly attacked with head blows, and these sorts of fusillades continued through the remaining early teen years of my pubescence. Constant, unprovoked, gangster-like from full-grown men, slaughtering repeated blows to the head, inflicting unbelievable trauma. The Army has claimed that my father's distinguished service record rendered me important. Is that why I was attacked? It was blindside. In what way is that transferable to an 11-year-old deaf child? In what way am I responsible to carry the weight of the World War II military as a poor, deaf, underprivileged child in a Pittsburgh public school? It doesn't make any sense. Yet these dishonorable people are in high command announcing that it makes sense. When I was first used for a Holocaust experiment, they gassed me. They used an unbelievably potent poor man's elixir, put it in a paper bag. They drenched it with paint thinner. They poisoned me with a LSD that had some sort of nerve agent in it that left me deaf and impaired in my facial nerve. And yet these dishonorable people from the armed forces continue to say not only that I deserved it, but that it was a special service operation. And they make a mockery of me about it. They've sent in a man from the Army who could do that with his cheek, and he did it like he was mocking me. It's involuntary with mine. It's led to seizures. They targeted it sexually for their mentality. And this was a Jewish Holocaust survivor idea, to gas me. They had I went looking through the door, like the cover of the book about Holocaust cinema, and the whole thing was scripted. They used me for a second Holocaust simulation experiment on Mount Desert Island. Now, Reagan had lots of opponents during the 60s. There were people who thought he was too pro-Vietnam War. Joan Baez said something was tongue-in-cheek about him at Woodstock. That's the first time I ever heard of him. Bobby Kennedy didn't like him. And John Lennon supposedly was on the other side of the street from him. Now they say that the two of them were friends, and I committed treason by questioning Reagan's war in Central America when they were scripting the fool's idea that I had something to do with John Lennon stepping out. They say, no, but these men were shot. The attorney for the Federal Emergency Management Agency had me in D.C. the day Reagan claims he was shot. He came out and waved to me the night before. The attorney's brochure reads, there's no such thing as objective reality, only what the jury believes. This was Pentagon Disney stuff. The script from CIA Hollywood, Oliver Stone, snapped his fingers, magically got his hands on it from an agent from Fox Studios who got uploaded into my house for the occasion. And Yoko Ono was on hand already. They already knew what was in the script. To pretend that they were behind the scenes working some kind of capitalist adventure, proving that Reagan didn't know. All of the evidence is reasonable to suggest that it was a Hollywood production, the whole thing, that London was Houdini. All of this unexpected weirdness is covered extensively in my blog. But Seattle had been full of nothing but the most dishonorable double-crossers of all, people helping them pull this off without questioning it. Look at some of the, after luring me here, promising me protection from abuse. Can you get any lower than this? After these gangsters raped a mentally retarded deaf girl with epilepsy who tried to help me. And even after they murdered Susie Kennedy. Even after they poisoned me in the facial nerve. They poisoned me in the heart, giving me double beats. It's like being punched in the heart when I'm resting. They poisoned me in the groin. I can barely get an erection. They kept me in depraved psychological depravity. I don't mean in terms of insanity, although it was obscene that they poisoned me in the mouth. It's depraved to isolate somebody, pretend that you like them, when your intent is hostile all along. It's criminally berzoid. And they tampered with the trauma constantly, saying we will infect you, we will poison him, infect you, poison him. And they were doing it from the administration in the city of Seattle. This was on the administrative level. Poison him, scare him, traumatize him, poison him. They caused me diabetes. Can you imagine being chemically castrated, double beats in your heart, punching you, deaf with a neurotrauma, and then getting poisoned in the mouth? And I defy you to find one of them that's willing to address the fact that Reagan's attorney is the one that had me in D.C. that day. This attorney's brochure says there's no such thing as objective reality, only what the jury believes. They are working with these people to this day, to this minute, terrorizing me and threatening me. And they've held me in cruel social isolation of absolute deafness with the intent to needle me with reminders of the woman who they took away from me, with intent to make it look like I was a good stereotype of what was wrong with the world. Now, I was into ecology. I would always talk about saving the earth, about ending hunger. But they set up a gangster war game of sexual entrapment during the AIDS attack to say it was justified. We'll wait until we prove it's justified with this zany two virgins pussy ball. Then we'll say the children are facing climate change. And of course, God Almighty got the fossil fuel to work for him in this occasion. And it's foolish to deny any of that, because it's all established. And we're supposed to trust this administration. Their agent, Gail Burston, took me to Kiss of the Spider Woman. And guess what they have? A Nazi saying, oh, it's because of the poor in Ethiopia that makes Germany want to dominate the world, because we want to save the poor in Ethiopia. I mean, and what was the other? They told me to was prick up your ears. What about the gay? You know, what was that title supposed to ever mean anyway? And when Billy Graham Foundation give me an agent, they give me an agent named Pre-Cup. Yeah, the whole thing is bizarre British espionage of a genocidal direction from the old Axis. So they're going to save the earth now. God bless them. Okay. Look, I don't hate the children who are coming to try to save the earth. Don't get me wrong. I was there. That's what I was doing. And some of these people have a stake in their own, autonomy. But take a look at what these people were doing. This is gross entrapment and targeting of leaders who are young, children. What's 10 years old? And they're slaughtering bloods and saying, I represent the naval history of my father who was in his 60s. I mean, you cannot reason with anything even remotely connected with these people. Michael Reagan is only interrogating me because he loves that scene of me 9 years old covered with bukkake, sleeping, waking up in tears with this stuff I didn't know what it was, right? And he can't wait to hear that. He wants I'm not sure Curry's humiliated enough yet. Give me some more of that. Make me feel that he's been humiliated sufficiently. Yeah, Trumpy Toon has some real loose screw.